Hello, I'm Ali.
And I'm her best friend, Em.
This is She Said, She Said.
Join us for our ritual Wednesday evening glass of wine as we talk about the highs and lows of life as two foreign ladies living in France.
Think of this as the group chat you actually want to be on, where we talk about all the plates we're spinning and occasionally dropping.
We'll also give you the best tips we've learned from over a decade living among the Frenchies.
C'est parti!
Hey, hello! How are you?
She's back!
She's back! We've been away, but she's back. I missed you.
I missed you.
I missed this.
I mean, I've missed this, but we have seen each other very recently.
Yeah, I mean, there was a week where I didn't see you, which I very much missed you in, but we did see each other recently. I'm sorry for abandoning you, listeners, but we're just going to jump right in. We were on a girls' trip to Paris.
Yes.
On a super special mission.
Very special mission, choosing a wedding dress for my dear friend Emma here.
Yes, and it was a successful trip.
She looked stunning in all of them, which should not come as a surprise to anyone.
It was very nice to go. We went with two of our friends and we had 24 hours flying visit to Paris, and it was just, we ate amazing food, we drank amazing drinks, and went to try on beautiful wedding dresses, and with three amazing cheerleaders. Everyone needs those cheerleaders being like, you look so good, girl.
Oh yeah, it was a perfect 24 hours, wasn't it?
It was fab. But we missed you, lovely listeners, and that's why we're back, full of energy
and new ideas.
New ideas, exactly. Yes, incredible segue. Thank you for launching me into that. So I was thinking about something we used to do at school in the UK when we were little after the holidays, and I thought we could bring it in now on this after the half-term holidays in France. So it's called show and tell. I don't know if you had this in the Germany, sorry. But basically, any kid could just kind of show and tell about anything. So I was thinking on the next episodes, one of us could do a show and tell about an object or something that happened or a trip you took or any subject. So we do a little show and tell.
Love it, obviously. Very good idea. You want to show and tell today?
I'll start. So my show and tell, it's not like an object, but the thing I wanted to share with you, because it really resonated with me when I read it, it was actually on the Substack of someone called Liz Moody. She has a podcast too, but we're not really in the same league as Liz Moody, honestly. She kind of breaks down a lot of health information. She's a journalist as well, but she sends out a Substack every week. And her information is about microcuriosity.
What is it? I want to know what it is. I'm so curious.
Well, hone in your microcuriosity. So apparently it's a complete game changer, according to Liz Moody. And she cited loads of research, but I'm not going to steal her information. I'll let you subscribe to her Substack. But basically what relationship researchers have found is that microcuriosity is the thing that's going to make a relationship last, among other things. And it's basically showing curiosity when your partner shares information with you. So rather than, say, your partner comes to you and is telling you all about, I don't know, the football results or something that maybe you're interested, maybe you're not. By showing curiosity and asking questions at that moment, that is the fastest way to deepen connection.
And so easy.
It is, but it's true, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're sometimes you're a bit quick to go on to be like, yeah, okay, that's interesting about your work, but now I want to talk about something else. Yeah, that's true. That if you do ask a question about it, it doesn't have to be too deep. It should be a bit like, okay, I'm acknowledging that you have something you want to share and it's important to you. So I guess it should be important to me.
Exactly. So it's like, rather than seeing it as like an information dump with information that you're maybe not interested in, seeing it as like a bid for connection and meeting it and being in a place where you say, tell me more.
And this is any relationship, right? Are we talking about romantic relationships? Or are you talking about any friendship? Even with the children, I guess, right?
Yeah. She cited romantic relationships, but I think it was for any. But it must work for kids when they want to tell you all about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just saying, oh, wow, yeah,
what's the name of the green one again?
Exactly. Yeah. So that is my show and tell. Please try to connect with your loved one.
Really good. Okay. So, let me blow your brain as well.
Okay, I'm ready.
So did you know that babies learn language even before they're born?
What, like
in the womb?
In utero?
Yes. So researchers found that in the last 10 weeks of pregnancy, I think that's because like that is where the hearing develops, the fetuses recognize their mother's voice and rhythms. They did tests on newborns where they would play back, their mother's voice speaking her language and then speaking a different language. They would react more easily to the language that the mother spoke when they were in the womb. And they would have like, I don't know, other brain activity that researchers would interpret as less calming and soothing when it was a different language. So yeah, the rhythm and the voice, they can already integrate when they're in the womb.
That
So I
is
thought that kind of like blew my mind. Also explained some stuff for me. And because we want to talk about bilingual children and raising bilingual children and bilingualism in general, I thought I would just boost this episode, start off with saying that I found out researching this episode that bilingual children are better at creative problem solving, at multitasking,
wow.
and I really love this one, perspective taking, because I think that is so important that you're able to put yourself in a different person's perspective. And so I thought we could start off by saying what like, personally our situations are in our homes. So maybe if you would explain what languages do you speak at your house and who speaks what.
With pleasure. So yeah, on the bilingualism topic, my situation is I'm British from a beautiful part of the UK called Derbyshire. You may hear from my dulcet accent, which has got weaker since I moved to France, definitely. Yeah, I have kind of a most people would say it's a northern accent in the UK, which is quite pronounced. My partner is French, but speaks really good English. When we met, I didn't speak French, so we spoke English all the time. He lived for a while in Sweden, he learned English there. We have two children. Little boy is 5, and he is definitely more at ease in French than
He's almost
English.
6. You have to please face it. He's almost 6. It's 2 more weeks. He'll be 6.
He is still 5, and he is my baby. He will be 6 in 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks I'll say he's 6, but until then, he's my 5-year-old
Fair
baby.
enough.
Okay, I've got a 6-year-old. And he's more at ease in French, but he speaks pretty good English, but with kind of a crazy French Derbyshire accent, which, yeah, we'll get into, but it's a lot sometimes. And then I have a daughter who's 3. She's obviously still kind of learning language, but she's much more comfortable in English because my mom lived with us for 6 months really recently, and she just had like a language explosion in English. So she speaks French fine for a 3-year-old, I would say, but is much better at English. That's our situation. Together, when we're all together, we speak English. And then when their dad's with them, they speak French. And when they're with me, they speak English. That's in a nutshell, our situationship.
Are you quite good at keeping to that? Is that something that you guys discussed before having your children and then you just went with it and you're sticking to it?
No, our parenting style is very much figure it out as we go along. So the only reason we were just in a kind of figure it out as we go along mode, and then we realized our son was just not replying, was not speaking English because he was with a childminder at the time. Not all of our friends were French because we have a lot of English speaking friends, but he had just loads of French input. And he just wasn't replying. I think he could understand when I spoke to him in English, but he wasn't replying. And from that moment, we decided at home it would be like an English home, which we've got a bit lax on sometimes, but mostly we try and speak English together. And that really made him speak a bit more English. And for my daughter, well, my mum doesn't speak French, so she just had to get better at English very quickly.
You and a partner, when you're alone, what language do you speak?
Really just a mix of both. I'd say pretty much now we're about on an even playing field with how good we are at each language
Yeah, but
because
like I imagine you guys, and I really don't know this, if you guys go out to a restaurant on your own, do you have your conversation in English or in French?
we switch between the two. It's really weird. And then sometimes I'll speak English to him and he'll speak back in French to me. Probably more French, I want to say, just because I think if you go out to a restaurant, then you'll be speaking French to someone and we'll
Yeah.
just carry that on.
Yeah.
Because you're kinda in the French zone. But I definitely wouldn't say, it's not as easy for me to speak French as it is English. It's an effort for me to
Yeah.
speak French, and it's an
Yeah.
effort for him to speak English. So we kind of we just kind of fluctuate between the 2, and then, yeah, one of us will switch, or yeah, there's not really any logic to it, to be honest. Maybe he would say, "Oh, I have to speak English all the time. She makes me." But in my head, it's like that.
I remember you guys don't you like, when you have arguments, do you have them, like, you in English and him in French so that everyone kinda is at their, best level of expression?
100%. Yeah. I mean, well, I'm not gonna be arguing in French. I can't be reaching
Yeah.
for the right words. Also, I
Yeah.
feel like in your second language, well, at least for me, I can't judge the weight of a word as easily. There's a subtlety in your own language that you can, like, choose the right words and give it the right tone. Whereas in French, I feel like I can go from 0 to 100 too quickly almost. And then he'll be really offended, and I'm like, "Oh,
Mm,
no. I
mm.
misjudged that, and I didn't
Yeah.
mean it like that." We have so many misunderstandings. Basically, all of our arguments come from us misunderstanding each other in the language. Basically,
Okay.
that's where it comes from. Which
Yeah.
is kind of a shame. We should probably just get better.
Yeah, but it's all reassuring as well that you can just, like, be like, "Okay, well, this is probably a communication problem, so where could it be?"
Yeah, we're getting better at just being like, "I don't think you understand what I was trying to say. I'm not trying to insult you." Anyway, that's my situation. What about yours? Because yours is like, I was gonna say trilingual, but it's not, but
No.
it's different.
So, our situation is that me and my husband are both German. We both studied in France. We met in France. I grew up in the US until I was 5 years old, so English was my first language. I learned German and refused to speak English from age 6, but I was obviously fluent and I would understand.
Where have I heard that before?
I'm coming to it, wait for it. So we both speak 3 languages, I'd say quite fluently.
Yeah, let's not gloss over the fact that you are like the trilingual that everyone would dream of being. Ali does this podcast in her third language, I would say. Like, you probably feel stronger in French. So she's doing this podcast in her third language and sounds as fluent as me, like a native speaker. So let's not gloss over that. And Garrett is as good. So that's pretty cool.
No, I mean, I have to say I do love languages, I've always loved them, so I want to be able to, like, speak them really well. I loved it in school. I've just,
Yeah,
like that really is just my that's my
it's your bag.
thing. We live in France, and our 3 kids were born in France, so I actually don't really remember from the very beginning if I always spoke German to my first child when she was born, so I don't really remember because she was born prematurely, so in the beginning, she was in the hospital, she was in the incubator, and I think everything was French around us, so she must have heard a lot of French in the beginning,
Probably not the
and when she
forefront
was
of
in
your
my
mind.
womb sorry.
I was going to say it's probably not at the forefront of your mind at that moment. She was born quite
Yeah,
prematurely. It was all very stressful, a
yeah.
lot going on. You're not thinking about, oh, let's make this baby bilingual.
Yeah, no, I weren't thinking about that. But probably when she was in my womb, and that's why I'm now thinking like, "Oh, maybe that's why it's so difficult." In the last 10 weeks of my pregnancy, I probably was still working in the newsroom, and in the newsroom, we spoke all languages, and
Yeah.
I spoke all languages. I was like I would do the voiceovers in German, then speak to my international colleagues in English and French. So, yeah, it was a mix of everything, so that's probably quite, yeah, I mean, that is kinda like how my everyday still today probably
Yeah.
is.
Because me and Ali met in international media, just all this mix all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. So, my children have always preferred to speak French. They've been in childcare from quite early age. Obviously, my husband and I, we speak German with each other, like, we never speak French with each other because that's just so weird, and we wouldn't speak English to each other either, so whenever we're alone, it's full German, and it's always been German, that's our mother tongue, that's our culture, that's it's a no-brainer, but we've quite quickly felt that our daughter was quite reluctant to speak German, so when she was really small, you will remember this, she would have words. When she started learning words, she had a few that she invented, and she had a few that were just, like, full on German, so she would
Yeah.
ask us for eggs, right? Or she would ask
Yeah.
sausages in German, she would always be like, "Ei, ei," or she's like Wurst, Wurst.
That became all of our friendship group because she was kind of the first baby. That became everyone referred to eggs as "ei." Everyone referred to sausages as "Wurst," and they were just like, "Livy, tu veux un ei?"
Yeah, still sometimes today she does that. Yeah, but never really wanted to speak any German, and we didn't feel like it didn't feel right to say to her, "Say this in German."
Of course,
She
yeah.
just really didn't want to. We could just really tell that was something she wasn't comfortable with. And yeah, I mean, fair enough. She was in a very French environment. We don't have any German-speaking friends.
Yep.
Still, as of today, she doesn't see a lot of other children, even bilingual children. She sees your children, our other friends' children. But even in our village, there's only one family that are bilingual, and so she doesn't have loads of other kids where she sees that this works, or that you can easily have both. You don't have to give up one to have the other. But she's really good at understanding. Most of the things she will understand when I say it to her in German. But my kids will quite often ask me, "Can you say this in French?" Or they'll just be like, I didn't get a word you were saying. What did
Yeah.
you say? Can you say it in French?" So sometimes I'll then like repeat it in German just to be really annoying and then say it in French. But like, oh come on, you have two German parents. Like, how can you just like not understand what I'm telling you? But sometimes it might also just be a complex story that even in French they wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
So this is my first child. She's very reluctant on speaking German, but very, very motivated when we're in Germany to find friends. And she has German friends, and she communicates with them when we're not around. So I don't actually know what language she speak. So other
No way.
friends of ours who've heard her when she wasn't with us said, "I heard her speak German," but I've never witnessed this, so
Oh
I
my
can't say
God.
anything about that. We did just go for a week in Germany, and she found a German friend really quickly. They hung out all day, every day, and it turns out at the end of the week, the other girl spoke more French than she did when she came. So apparently they've been language exchanging.
Really cute.
So I guess she spoke some German with her, but I can't be sure. And so then my second child, so my first child is 9. My second one is about to be 7. He's still 6.
You have a 7-year-old. I'm sorry to break it to you, but
He's not a 7-year-old. He's 6. He soaks up language really quickly, but he also does not want to speak German. And then my youngest is really funny. He loves speaking German. He will just sometimes speak to me in German when I don't expect it, but they all speak French between each other.
he has some specific words that he says very well in German, as I just saw before you logged on.
He has a very French accent. All of my kids have strong French accents, which is, I guess, quite cute. But they also have their cousin. They have all of their family. All of my husband's and my family are all German, and some of them speak French. So my mother speaks French. Um, but she does the same as we do. She like responds to them in German and they speak to her in French. So it's very convenient. But I have to say, and this is maybe one of the downsides of this story, that it is difficult to build a relationship with the grandparents on my husband's
Yeah.
side. They learned French. So my kids have been so stubborn that my mother-in-law is learning French, and even my mom's partner
Yeah.
is learning French as well now.
So cute. I didn't
Um,
know that.
so that they can communicate better with my children, and because they're in France more often, but it's really cute. That's some of the changes they've brought about our family. So yeah, 3 children, 3 really different experiences with language. I think we always told ourselves, "Oh, we'll just speak German at home and our children will just be bilingual." But it's not that easy, is it?
No, I think this is the misconception as well, and people have said to me in a very well-meaning way, "Oh, I'm showing my kid, I don't know, Spanish cartoons so she learns Spanish." And I remember thinking in my head, "Do you think that's gonna teach your kid Spanish?"
It's not that easy.
I bust a gut every day for my kids to speak English with a French accent. It's not easy. It is so, and there's this myth of, and people used to say it to me, "Oh, he'll pick it up, he'll switch over." And I remember thinking, "No, he won't." I had
Yeah.
your example, I had a few other examples, and I remember thinking, "No, no, he won't. It's not that
No, they
easy."
don't.
I think we need to bust some myths about this
Yeah,
because
let's bust some
yeah,
myths. And that
okay.
first one is children automatically pick up languages. They don't.
No.
Language is not automatic. They need a varied, and they need meaningful. This is what I learned, meaningful real life exposure.
Yeah.
So that is important. They need the interaction, they need the engagement. And that is much more important than passive listening, as you just said with the Spanish cartoons. That that will give them an idea of languages and maybe they can recognize languages. So, yeah, that was the first one. Children do not automatically pick up languages. Sorry, but that just doesn't happen.
That's quite negative news, but it's the real world, bro.
Yeah, it shows that it needs some work. Another one that I learned is that, they used to tell us, and I think they told us a lot, that if you want your child to be bilingual, they shouldn't mix their languages. They shouldn't have to
Yeah,
use
that's
like
true.
one phrase half, one phrase the other
Yeah.
half. I actually learned during research for this podcast that they found out that language is like stored in different shelves of your brain. So your brain does make the difference between the two different languages.
Okay.
And it is a very normal stage for children to be mixing both in the beginning, but they all end up knowing which one is which.
That's good to know. That
Perfectly
actually is,
capable of it.
yeah, makes me feel better. My daughter at the moment is, "Mummy, will you play avec me?" And no matter how much I say will you play with me? She'll always say, "Play avec me. Will
Cute.
you come to the park avec me?" Why that word?
Maybe avec is easier to say than with.
With, avec. I don't know. Okay. So it's all right if there's kind of like a jumble.
Yeah. Do develop independently in your brain, so it's not a problem. You do not have to insist on it. I guess you can repeat the sentence in the right way just so that she kind of like hears it again. But I think there's no need to insist on it too much and, you know,
Okay. No stress.
discourage her speaking English or French or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
that's true, because I do feel a bit of a kind of disciplinarian if if all the time I'm,
Yeah, you
correcting
wanna
them.
communicate, you wanna relate, you want connection, right?
Connection, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't wanna be like, yeah, but, like, how do you say it correctly?" It's annoying, isn't it? They're not at school.
For sure. One thing it reminded me today, and I corrected today, I corrected it yesterday, I correct it all the time, and then I start saying the Franglais version. My kids always say, "I'm going to brush my hairs, I'm going to brush them," and call them plural, whereas in English you would say, "I'm going to brush it, my hair." And every time they say it, I correct them and say, "No, I'm gonna brush it. I'm gonna brush
Yeah.
my hair, singular." And now me and my partner have just started saying, "Oh, I'm really, yeah, they're all tangled. We need to brush them." So we've just switched to the way they say it.
See, that's like my daughter making everyone else learn French. They're so little dictators.
I know, they've got me in a chokehold. Tell me some more bit myths. Bust some more myths.
Last myth bust is that being bilingual means that you're equal fluent in both languages, which is does not have to be the case
Okay.
because bilingualism comes in many different forms and some people can decide to speak both languages, but a lot will decide to only speak one language, or you can have an accent or be much better in one and less so in another.
Yeah.
And that is due to the fact that languages are acquired in different contexts. So it's being unequally fluent in two languages is just completely natural.
Do you think
Makes
there's
sense, right?
anyone who is bilingual and kind of has the same strength in two languages? Because nobody I know is like that. My kids have an English mom, a French dad. They're definitely, one is more at ease in French, one is more at ease in English. And is there anyone who
I mean, I don't
realistically
want
is
to
a
name
100?
drop, but I'm thinking off the top of my head, I'm thinking about two colleague journalists that we worked with who both worked in French and English. And I think we're quite fluent in both of them. But maybe maybe they got better as they got older. But
Okay. I
think they
mean,
both have,
respect to those people,
yeah.
because I'm never going to get there, I don't think.
Yeah. But I mean, definitely, I think both of these people grew up in both countries as well. I think which that is super important, or at least later on studied in one of the two countries that they didn't grow up in, or, you
Maybe
know,
that's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think living just in one country and then becoming completely perfectly fluent in the other, I don't know, maybe if you're like, maybe, yeah, but
So we have to pack our
not
kids
my
off
thing.
to England or Germany for their
Yeah, very
university. That's
much.
what we have to do.
My
Honestly,
daughter did start learning English because she just thinks it's cooler than German. So I was a bit like, right, yeah, you don't want to speak any German, but you want
I
to
am
speak.
here. I am
That's
ready
cool.
to take my role as the cool aunt, the cool British aunt. I'm ready. I'm ready. I was
Well,
born
I
for
can't
this.
wait to send my kids to your parents' house for like summer camp or something like that.
Yeah, they
Off
love
they
it.
go.
They would love it, honestly, having all the little French kids coming over. But
Yeah,
yeah, that let's sort it out.
that'd be really cool.
So, with Myth Busted, it's really difficult, but it's also really cute and really fun. Are there any moments that come to mind that were really cute or really funny from any of your kids at any point with them being bilingual?
One does come to my mind, about my daughter when she was still quite small. She was learning, I think she was only saying words. I think we drove through Switzerland quite a lot, and when you drive through
Right.
Switzerland, you see a lot of cows, right? They're, like, on the fields around you,
Makes
and it's
sense.
and so, she would point them out, and she would just be like she only knew the German word for it, and the singular for a cow in German is Kuh, and the plural is Kühe, okay? And
I
so
know
she
where
would
this is
always just,
going.
like, point to them and go like, "Coo, coo, coo, coo."
And
And
in French,
"coo" in French is it's a butt. So she kept on pointing to them, and Garrett and I were like, especially when French people were with us, we were just like, "No, but she's speaking German.
we can explain.
She's not being rude."
That's really good. Oh,
No,
that's
that's
funny.
always fun.
I don't know
What
if
about you?
I yeah, I don't know if I have any specific examples. I was trying to rack my brains, but it's all been such a blur. I
I'll come
think
back.
the funniest ones just come from their accent, the kind of French Derby mixture. So, for example, my son would say, "We're going to get the bus." Bus. Bus. And I've kind of got used to it, but then when people come to visit, it kind of that blows their mind. They're like, "That is the funniest thing I've ever heard."
Oh my god, the French accent is so cute. I mean, they're quite lucky in a sense that having a French accent really is not the worst when you're speaking
No, especially in
languages, right?
English. I don't know if how it is in German, but in English it's really
Yeah.
sexy. Well,
Yeah.
not for children. But but it's cute, it's cute. Sorry, it's cute. One of my friends actually said to me at one point, he's from the UK, like we're good friends, so you could say it. He said, "Yeah, you're kind of doing them a favor because if you'd had kids in Derby, they would have a Derby accent. At least they've got a French accent." Harsh, but quite true.
Do you sometimes think about the day that our kids will speak better French than us?
It has already come, my friend.
The day's come. The day's come. Oh my god, no! No, give us more time.
Did I not tell you about this? I've been being bullied. I've been harassed during the
What?
holidays. Yeah,
What?
I need you to get over here now and protect me. No, my son and his friend came over, and I'll set the scene. So his friend who is French was staying over, and they wanted to read a book that we only have in English. So I was live translating from English into French the book. Quite difficult to do when you're reading the Christmasaurus. Try translating the Christmasaurus into French. But then my son started doing it. So,
Ooh.
le, what did he say? Le Noël Lazare. The Noël Lazare. Christmasaurus. Anyway, they started saying, so I kept getting the genders wrong. In French, there's masculine and feminine, and in English, does not exist. So often I get a little bit raveled, a bit mixed up. So I was saying masculine for une, feminine words. And they kept saying, oh, maman. It's oh, it's une. And then his friend said, "You're not very good at French, are you?"
Burn.
And despite her being a 6-year-old, I said, "Well, when you can speak 2 languages and write 2 languages, you come back and speak to me."
Did you feel good when
Six-year-old.
you said that?
I immediately felt bad. And when I explained this to my boyfriend after, he was like, "Did you let 2 6-year-olds bully you and get the better of you?" It was triggering. But yeah, the
No.
day is already here. And he just, honestly, the gender thing is so annoying. And I did say to him, "You've got to stop correcting me." I'm speaking to his friend's parents, and he says, "Oh, maman." And I'm just like, "Shut up." But then he said, "I'm just trying to help you. You correct me." Tricky.
I
Tricky.
hate when they're right about stuff. I just thought about something else that my kids do. For some reason, they translate between each other. So sometimes I'll say something I usually say stuff in German, but I would say when I'm alone with them for a long time, it's 3 kids speaking to me in French all the time. Sometimes find myself switching to French because I'm like, "Okay, I'm done with it." But if I do speak in German, and I actually this happened this morning, I will say something in German. I'll say something like, "Yeah, but before we leave, we said you would get that book and you would put it into your bag." And then one of the other kids will translate to that child in French, although everyone understood. And you just be like, "Why'd you do that?" I just let them do it, but I realize they often translate between each other. It's like, "So mom just said it's fine, no, no, no," and so they'll say it in French. As if they're not sure that their brother or sister understood, which is, I don't know, funny, right?
Kind of annoying as well because they're cheeky. They're so cheeky. I mean, any let's conclusion from this whole episode. Anything kids can use to be cheeky, including being bilingual and playing with the language and playing with their parents' minds, they will do.
They will do
It's,
it.
it's just going to
Yep.
happen. Yeah.
Yep.
Although they don't really pull my partner up on his French accent. Like they don't correct
Not
him in
yet.
French.
Do you think they're aware of it?
No. But they both have French accents too. So
Yeah. They will eventually, probably.
yeah, it's just been a long time.
My kids have started correcting me as well. Same, especially my, like, bit nerdy middle child. It's
Yeah.
been some, and sometimes I just go to him, I'm just like straight out, "Okay, crab. Is it feminine or is it masculine? I don't know. Is it une crabe? Is it un crabe? I don't know. I don't know right now what it is. I don't, there's just
Une
some words I
une
just don't know."
une crabe. No, un crabe. Oh, I don't know. I don't
See?
I don't know.
See, no,
It's hard.
no, that one I just never know. That one I never know.
Tricky, tricky.
Yeah.
Mm. Do we have
Maybe we
do
can do a game on Instagram. If you can tell us.
don't write in if you know if it's no, une. We'll just ask our
Mm,
kids.
I did have one last really interesting fact,
You're
about
on fire
bilingualism.
today. Yeah, hit me with it.
Bilingualism. If it motivates anyone to learn another language, you can always learn another language even on a almost bilingual level
Yeah.
when you're older.
I did
And
I did at 20. I started at 22.
yes, you did it. And why you should do it is because it literally changes your brain. Researchers have found that bilingual people have more gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, which is this part of your brain.
Okay.
And it's the part of the brain that is responsible for decision making and problem solving.
So you're
And
better at that.
you're better at it. You have more of the matter that, helps you do that. And it's not only gray matter, it's also white matter. And that is the stuff that connects the parts of the brain and helps them communicate faster. So
Okay.
if you need a picture, imagine a subway system. Gray matter are the stations and white matter, the tunnels between them. And the more you speak languages, multiple languages, you're basically keeping those tunnels smooth and efficient. And so messages in your brain travel faster and easier. And this mental exercise, this, CrossFit for your brain, it protects your brain later in life. And they even found out that bilingualism can delay the symptoms of Alzheimer's by up to 5 years.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
So
we are
switching
doing
between languages is not only impressive, it is brain fitness. So there you go.
bloody hell. Well, you're welcome, kids, because as we've established earlier in the podcast, not simple. All right. What are our takeaways from raising bilingual? Do you know what's not good for bilingualism or speaking? Having 2 beers or having 2 wines before you record a
Don't you
podcast.
get more and more fluent the more
No.
you drink?
What are our takeaways? What's our advice? If we can be so bold as to advise.
I'd say you really have to adapt to your family. You can't, there's no one solution fits all.
Yeah, so true.
You have to go with the flow because it just doesn't, not every child works, brain works in the same way, and not the situations, the social context is not the same. Some kids might be more aware of their surroundings, don't want to be different. And so feel like, I don't want other people to think I'm different. And so I don't want to speak a different language in front of them. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, that is my takeaway. It's, you can do the best you can, but it's not easy.
No, for sure. I think that's a really good point. It's not worth forcing it, right? It's just not that your kid's happiness is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And you're finding your family dynamic that works for you, that, is going to bring you the least stress each day is the most important thing. not them speaking another language, because like you said, they can just learn it when they're older, and if they've had loads of input from that language when they were a kid, they will learn it even easier. It
Yeah.
just is a little bit easier. I
Yeah,
think
they're a step ahead of others.
exactly, yeah. I actually studied like linguistics at university, so we studied the kind of critical period in child language acquisition, and it's probably later than you think. According to this theory, the critical period theory, I suppose, is up to 12, so it's up to adolescence. So there's a while. Also, probably our kids are still at an age where it's kind of difficult to reason with them. I feel like at 11 years old, you're going to be able to start showing why it's good to be able to be bilingual.
Yeah.
That's a help.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I have friends who had 2 parents, 2 different languages, and where one of the parents decided not to speak their language, and everyone regretted it. Everyone was like, "Oh, I wish my dad had spoken French to me because it was
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
language and he never did." And, I guess at least we don't have that problem. I mean, I'm trying.
Oh, yeah, of course you are. But I
So
do now understand that parent. I get it now because it's not easy, especially if your language is a bit. I kind of think of my partner, his dad's from Madagascar, and he didn't speak Malgache to his kids.
yeah.
But it was very much in a time where it was kind of he moved from Madagascar and it was you integrate in the country. So it really wasn't cool to be seen speaking a language from
Yeah.
part of the French Empire, I suppose. So, it all depends on the situation. So yeah, I totally get that parent. If if the kid was showing resistance, then there wasn't kind of the support there. I get it.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed that, listeners.
Wait, I have a nice other anecdote, maybe. And
Go
that was just so cute about our friend group when we were on holidays skiing, last was it March or something like that? We had this big house and we were, 8 adults and 10 children, right? So it was a big messy week, with a lot of children screaming and running around and laughing. And one evening, they were all sleeping in, like, different floors of the house. One of us said to them, "Okay, say good night." And I think my youngest, who likes to speak German, said, "Gute Nacht." And then I think one of our friend Elsa's kids, girls, was like, "Bonne nuit." And I think it was you or our friend Charlotte's son, like one of your kids, the English speaking ones as well, saying, "Good night." And it was just so cute. It was like, "Gute Nacht, bonne nuit, good night."
Adorable, adorable.
Yeah, it was
That's the
adorable.
key takeaway from the podcast. Having
Yeah,
bilingual kids is adorable.
it was adorable.
It was super fun to catch up,
It was.
and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, listeners. Tell us your tales of having bilingual kids or trilingual kids, or there are
Yeah.
some kids who have like 4 languages going on. It must
Yeah,
be crazy. Follow us on Instagram because we post lots of updates there, and we want to hear what you have to say as well on other topics that we discuss.
exactly. And you'll hear from us next week.
You'll be hearing from us. No more breaks without announcing them. Sorry
No.
about that. We were just so into the holiday.
Oh, so happy.
Well, have a lovely
Cool.
evening and
Ja, gute Nacht.
good night. Good night.
Was willst du da jetzt gerade machen?
Ich weiß nicht. Puzzle.
Puzzeln?
Puzzeln, ja.
Süß, okay.
Und auch Bananenkisten. Bananenkisten.
Bananenkuchen backen?
Ja,
Sag mal.
ja, Bananenkisten war das.
Can you say something like, can you say, my mummy is the best?
Ma maman est la meilleure.
Oh, yeah, but you can say it in English too.
Oh, my mommy is the best.
And what else do you want to say?
I like my daddy. And yesterday, I just went trick or treating because it was Halloween, and I
Did you eat lots of sweets?
I nearly ate the whole packet.
Oh, wow. Can you say that in French?
J'ai presque mangé tout le paquet de bonbons hier parce que c'était Halloween.
And what's another funny thing to say in French? Oh, how do you say the film we watched recently in English?
Capable des hunters.
Yeah, and how do you say it in French?
Capable des mots en terre.
Very good. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I'm called Sunny.